John, let's talk about New York, first
All right,
of all.
Bob.
Okay, because you've been here a good long time now and had a good chance to sort of digest the city.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you feel about New York as a city? Do you enjoy it here?
I still love it. And I just dig it.
How different is life in New York, say, by comparison with life in London? Because, I mean, I don't know New York very well at all, but first impression I get, I mean, from, say, a 34th story window, I mean, the city looks amazing, but it feels very tense down on the street.
Well, I don't know. To me, it's no tenser than Liverpool or London was. I mean, on the street in Liverpool, unless you're in the suburbs, yeah, I mean, you had to walk close to the wall, you know? And to get to the cabin, you know, for those of you who remember all that, it was no easy matter, even at lunchtime sometimes. You know? I mean, it's a tense place, you know? And Glasgow and Newcastle, London had it. When I first got to London, it was pretty nerve-wracking. We were all putting on, we're from Liverpool and we're a tough bit. But there was some hard knocks down in London, you know? And I think that's what you feel. It's almost the difference between Liverpool and London, London and New York. And it has that tenseness, but it's just that it's going at a tremendous speed, you know. I don't know why, but it is, you know. So people are that kind of tenseness, you know.
What about the music business in New York, John? I mean, say, for example, places to play, because there seems so much more activity here in that respect as well.
Yeah, well, the whole music business was here. A lot of it's moved to the West Coast, you know, like, because a lot of people like to go and lie out there, you know. So a lot of the industry's gone down there. But there's still plenty of studios, you know, and musicians. There's almost cliques, which I'm not keen on. That's why I like to use, you know, a few different people from different areas. But there's a lot of action here, a lot of good musicians, and of course all the English musicians pass through here and they cut tracks or they goof around, you know, so there's always input coming in, you know. And I generally stick to the same studio because, you know, I'm like that with doctors and dentists, you know, find one, stick with it. You know.
Yeah. How many studios are there in town?
I have no idea. There must be a good 50 or 60. There's places out, somebody was telling me about out in Jersey, where they cut Shame, Shame, Shame. They've got a great scene going there, which I haven't visited, because that's like going to the sticks, you know, or something, although it's only around the corner. And they have these men that just clock in, do tracks, you know, and then they bring a singer in and put them on if the track's any good. So there's a lot of that kind of thing going on.
I get the impression, really, too, that there's a much greater kind of general awareness of rock music in this country. I mean, I saw on the television yesterday that there was a news item on Jethro Tull and their gig at Madison Square Gardens the other night. I mean, is there a greater awareness of rock music over here?
Well, then, I mean, they are... Profit isn't too dirty a word here, you know, as they say. And Madison Square is the place, you know. I mean, when anybody tours America or comes from England, wherever they come from, they have to hit Madison Square Garden and the place in L.A., which I can't remember, you know. I mean, that's the ones that count. The rest is just travel. And it's a big event, you know. And the local newsmakers, 4 or 5 channels of news. I mean, there's 3 big ones, and there's a couple thrown in of local stations, and then there's the sort of the BBC one, I call it, the WNET. They all have so there's 8 news, and they're all looking for something to say, you know. So they always cover the big events, especially Madison Square, whether it's Muhammad Ali or Jethro Tull. You know? And it's a big event, you know. And the industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry. So I think it's bigger than the film industry now. And I think they're getting aware of that. You know?
I was aware of that too in LA, really, because the emphasis seems to have shifted completely now from the movies to rock and roll. It seems to have become a rock and roll city, LA.
Yeah, the rock and rolls have taken over that city. Yeah. LA is now, you know, just rock and roll town, you know. The movies are like a side issue almost. The movie people still live there, a lot of them, you know, the old-time stars and that. But even the new movie stars, they hang out with rock and roll people. Rock and roll people are the new stars, you know. It's great.
There seems also, John, to be a really big difference now between the American singles and album charts and the charts in Britain.
That's what I'm finding out to my detriment.
Yes.
So, what I did was, I had a person at my office keep sending me the top 10 from England, because I have to find out what's going on, don't I? But, I mean, if I'm fighting If by Telly Savalas, well, I've got a long battle.
What did you think, though, to the stuff that you heard? I mean, the local stuff from Britain.
I like it because it sounds like rock and roll, you see. I only heard the first batch I got, I thought, I better check out what's going on over there. I had a feeling this rock and roll album would do better than my own stuff. After I had the first top 10 sent over and I listened to it, it was over Christmas. There was a lot of sort of imitation Elvis and rock and roll stuff. I thought, aha, Oh, that's what it is, you know. It really is changing, you know.
Are you missing England very much, John?
Yeah, I try not to, you know, like I had, you know, your friend here bring me the chocolate Olivers. It's little things, you know, you miss, like black pudding, you know, and chocolate Olivers. And I don't allow myself to miss it that much, because then I couldn't carry on fighting about my green card. I'm going to win that one first. And then, you know, I'll keep telling myself, it'll be there. It'll take another 18 months to get the card, maybe 2 years. It's going to be there. Ain't going nowhere, you know.
Just to sort of clarify the situation, now the reason that you've not come back is because if you leave America, you can't get back in here again.
Yeah, nobody said that in so many words, you know, nobody wrote a piece of paper. I mean, apart from every now and then they say you've got 30 days to leave. I know that if I went, they wouldn't let me back in. I'd have a hell of a job getting back in. I mean, I was having a hell of a job coming in and out as it was. So does Paul, so does Mick, so does George. I mean, all the time when they want to come in here, they have to get on their knees 6 months in advance. And I got sick of that, you know. So I wanted to stay. And that's it, isn't it? Was that the answer?
More or less, yeah. What is the green card situation?
The green card, the situation is I'm still appealing. Like every now and then they'll say, you've got 30 days to get out, and then my lawyer will appeal and we'll go up to another court or something like that. And it'll just go on forever. Terry Southern put it well. He says, it keeps the Conservatives happy that they're doing something about me and what I represent. And it keeps the Liberals happy because I haven't actually been thrown out. So everybody's happy, you know?
Yeah. Are you aware that there's a kind of specific, well, I don't know, do you think that they are at the moment, John, to be kind of emerging now from a distance anyway, seem to be a kind of trough of depression?
Yeah, well, once you've been down, rather mentally, I mean, I go into these troughs every few years. It was less noticeable in the Beatles because the Beatles' image and thing would carry you through it, you know. I mean, I was in the middle of a trough in Help, you know, but you can't see it really. I mean, I'm singing Help for a kick-off, you know. But it was less noticeable because you're protected by the image of the power of the Beatles. Now when it happens, I'm on my own, right, you know, and it's easier to get sniped. And so I've been in a trough, so I'm out of it. I'm coming out of it. Whoopee, you know. I'll be around for the rest of my life in this business, so I don't get too serious about it. I only worry about what's happening to me.
Did you find that all the problems, John, were affecting your work during the last couple of years?
Yeah. I tried to pretend to myself that I wasn't being affected by it. It was just going off my back like water or whatever that thing is. But when I really got down to it, and I got down to it, I realized that it was a constant thing all the time, you know, just non-stop, you know. It was like a sort of big toothache, you know. It didn't go away. And it's still around now, but I think I've come to terms with it a bit. And it was just, you know, interfering with everything, you know. Like at one time I had this group together, Elephant's Memory and a few extra people, and I was ready to go on the road just for fun, you know. I didn't care whether I was going to get paid even. I just felt like going out, you know. And they started taking me to court, and I was sort of getting into the court scene, you know. I can get into any play, right? So I was getting the suits on, and I was talking to the judges, and there's TV, and it's a stage, you know.